At the end of this life that I've been given, after the prayers and the bells are rung, I ain't afraid of where I'm going and what'll become of the songs I've sung. What'll become of the songs I've sung.
All right, welcome everybody to the Corpus Christi Songwriter Podcast. I'm Jules.
I'm Jimmy.
Hey, I'm Garrett.
And we're back. It's been about 6 months, man.
Good
Did we
Lord,
even
guys.
tell anybody we were leaving? Like, did we tell anybody at all we were taking a break? Or did we just like East Coast bounce, peace, done?
Peaced out.
And then,
Pretty much what happened, yeah.
Yeah, now we're just barging back into people's lives, probably because we got something to sell them, some kind of product, right? Something to promote, some kind
Please
of...
come to our festival.
Please come to our festival. This entire podcast functions off of you coming to the festival. If you don't come to the festival, there's no reason for us to be doing this podcast. It's a lot of work, a lot of editing, you know. Anyway, so we're back. It's been 6 months. I'm really excited, but we got to catch up because I've barely even seen you guys in person, man.
I know, man.
Yeah. So
I know.
I've missed you guys.
I missed you.
You don't write, you don't call, you don't smoke signals, letters, forget-me-nots, you know.
I've briefly seen Jules out at the studio in Rockport.
Oh, yes, that's right.
Slowly working on the album, which we need to finish, by the way.
Yeah, we should talk about dates, you know.
Yeah.
How far are y'all into the album, guys?
We've got most of the basic tracks recorded.
How many
Michael,
tracks?
What is it, like 9 or 10 tracks?
It's
something
10.
like that.
It's 10.
Yeah. Michael
Nice.
O'Connor came in and laid down some interesting guitar parts.
Nice.
Yeah.
Electric or acoustic?
It was electric. There was a baritone guitar,
Nice.
right? Involved.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I was just a big relief for me that Michael was doing the baritone thing because, and also that John happened to pick up that new baritone guitar because I was very excited about using some time with Jimmy to do some baritone parts, and the Squire that John had for a while was like that baritone. You would fret it, and it's just like baritones were already, you know, kind of persnickety. Because there's a lot of room for that string to get out of tune, and then when you're fretting and it's just not on the right pitch, and it was just like it didn't work out. But John got a new baritone, and Michael asked for a tremolo pedal, and I was like, "Do I have the pedal board for you?" And and so we pulled that in. He plugged in, and he did some really nice baritone. I think he did some mandolin parts too, man.
That's perfect,
right? Yeah.
And Jules, you're also slowly working on your record too. Is it pretty much done at this point?
It's pretty much done. I just need to decide that it is done. Like I just, you know, because I keep thinking, I should go back and get Chisholm to come back and do some fiddle on this track, but the whole album flows the way it is. You know, I there's no more permanent solution than a temporary solution, right? Because you put that temporary solution in, and then like it kind of just becomes a permanent fix, you know.
Yep.
And I got some artwork off of Fiverr, like Fiverr, dude, off of Fiverr, and I just wanted it to be like artwork that I could show other artists to like be like do something like this. Yeah. And I don't know what it is, man. I'm like, I am an artist. I get back to people, but none of my artists get back to me. So I'm like, I don't know. Maybe that cover is going to become the art. I don't know.
This stopgap is going to be what I end up using because no one will get back to me.
Yeah. And then, but you know what? ChatGPT has given me some interesting ideas on it, though. But
that's what I was going to say. Was just ask AI to create you one. It'll be good.
You know what? I'm gonna. Yeah. There's some stuff on there that I'm like, wow, that'd be really cool merch. And you know, the problem is, it's like I like really dark stuff. Like I like concepts that are really dark, and this one's not really dark, man. This is like the Siren and the Wordsmith is more like the sea and the you know, and writing and
is that one going to be on there, Jules? That's a good one.
Yeah. The whole album's called The Siren and the Wordsmith, and
nice.
It's a whole concept album. So it's nothing but me, John Macy playing steel, and Chisholm playing fiddle. And gorgeous. So nothing but like fretless accompaniment.
It's gonna be like your version of Nebraska.
Right. That's funny.
There you go.
Yes,
Nebraska.
I'm about five songs in with Chris Reedus right now for my stuff.
Nice.
I just played a baritone rubber bridge Gibbs Fender Mustang the other day for a song. That's Chris's.
Really?
It was a very strange.
Yeah.
Wow.
So Chris lent me a drum set to take to a music video shoot that we were doing a couple weekends ago. So I was so close, like, take me in the studio, but we were running late. So I've yet to see a studio. I've yet to work with him in his own studio. I've worked with him with Mason many times. Yeah. But yeah, no, I need to get into a studio and check it out. And
it's cool, man. It's a little log cabin, basically.
Yeah. Special mention and special shout out to John Elijah, man. Who he's got a new album coming out. He's working with Chris Reed. That's gonna be awesome. And I can't wait to see what those guys come up with, man. So.
That's cool. Yeah, I just saw that. That's gonna be awesome.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
All right. So we're actually 6 months. 6 months ago we just randomly stopped doing the podcast. So technically, this is episode 1 of season 2, quote unquote.
I guess it's season 2, man.
Yeah.
There's no rules.
Yeah, no, we do what we want, but we're here specifically starting this season because we have the 2025 Corpus Christi Songwriters Festival coming up in a few weeks, and we thought we'd get some of the songwriters playing the festival on. And so each Tuesday, every Tuesday leading up to the festival for the next few weeks, we'll be having 2 guests on each week and diving in with them about what their process and everything in between. So this week we've got the 99s from Beeville. They're this crazy cool duo that
brother and sister duo.
I'm really looking forward to diving into their insane, I don't know, eclecticism, if you will.
Let's just hang on. We got to voice the whole format here because we're talking in past tense as if you haven't done these things. But for the audience, we should let them know we're recording this intro on the other side of stuff.
Yeah.
This is we already did the interviews.
Don't break the fiction.
Break the fourth wall that way.
Yeah.
I will tell you that conversations inevitably turn to theremins and saws and strange instruments.
Weird stuff, man. Yeah.
It's pretty good though.
And where they hide bodies, apparently. And then we have Stephanie Sammons, who is legitimately one of my favorite songwriters from the 2024 festival. She's coming back this year.
We're excited. Yep.
We're excited to have her, and we dive into. We dive in deep with her about what drives her. What's the word I'm looking for? Balancing work life and creative life,
music life. Yeah, she's got a new record called Time and Evolution. Yeah, and it's excellent. And we talk a little bit about her, kind of the how she goes to workshops to kind of get out of her comfort zone and get into the headspace to write songs and kind of get out of her normal day-to-day and 9-to-5 life that she has. So it's pretty interesting to talk to her about that stuff.
That's perfect.
I didn't know that she was a financial planner, man. I feel like her and Jenny should be friends, man.
I could definitely learn something from her. Maybe we will after this. We listen and find out.
Right. Have her back on as a financial planning episode for songwriters. Be like, listen, I've got $17 and I'm trying to get someone off the dollar menu. And and also catch a bus fare for tomorrow. So, is this going to be enough? Help me plan this out.
All right. So our next guest was one of the standouts of last year's Corpus Christi Songwriters Festival. As the Dallas Observer writes, her debut record, Time and Evolution, traces a reckoning with being queer in a conservative Southern religious culture. Far from furious screed, it is instead tender, inquisitive, and often profoundly moving. These songs are the textbook definition of soulful. This is Stephanie Sammons. How are you doing?
I am doing great.
I saw that little blurb about you. You were nominated for Best of Dallas Songwriter and Financial Planner. Was that correct?
Right, which means I had no competition.
Hyphenate, yeah.
The only songwriter financial planner in the state of Texas, probably.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, that's amazing. So What is it? You were legitimately one of my favorite moments of the 2024 festival. What have you been up to over the past year?
Man, y'all are so nice. I can't tell you how much that means to me. That was a big deal to get to play in your festival, and I'm so excited about the upcoming 2025 festival. But what have I been up to?
Yeah.
Oh man, I've just been I've been doing a lot of playing, and I've kind of gone back into writing mode. I don't know about you all, but it's hard to get out and play festivals and shows and things and perform and then go back to your writing brain. I kind of have to carve out time for that. And so I've been sort of hiding out over the last couple of months, trying to get back into writing. And it's been great. You know, that's really where the joy is for me in many respects.
How do you get into that mindset, Stephanie? I'm curious.
I mean, it's kind of painful, but once I'm there, no, but honestly, I go to some workshops. I don't know if you know this, but I've been to many workshops that this one woman does out of Nashville that I stumbled upon in 2017, I think was my first one. And she brings in, she's got a stable of artists. There may be 6 or 7 of them. Mary Gaucher, Jonathan Brooke, Beth Nielsen Chapman,
nice.
Emily Salyers from the Indigo Girls. So I've gotten to work in a group setting. It's about 12 to 15 in a group. And it's a 3 or 4 day workshop. And that really, it's dedicated time to thinking about song ideas and writing. And it's out of my everyday life. I'm somewhere else. And that's really what it takes to kickstart and get going down that path for me. Something like that, just getting out of my everyday life.
Shaking it up a little bit so you can.
Yeah. Well, there's nothing else to do except think and write.
Yeah. I was curious about that, Stephanie, after jamming your album and thinking about because you got a full-time day gig like a lot of us, and kind of finding the balance between those two is, as you know, can be kind of nuts. And so it's kind of awesome to I think you're an example of like, hey, I have a full-time job, but I did this too. You know, I made this album and it's awesome and I get to play, and yeah.
There you go. I wanted to take it back just a little bit, if you don't mind.
Sure.
When you first picked up a guitar, was it to start writing songs, or what was the process getting into writing songs in the first place?
No, it wasn't. I first picked up a guitar really seriously in college, and just kind of learned. I took some lessons, a few lessons, learned some blues chords, learned how to play Tears in Heaven, you know, the Eric Clapton.
Naturally.
It's like the rite of passage for you.
I know. Not very well, by the way, but and I was coming up during the time where it was Tracy Chapman, Sarah McLachlan, the Indigo Girls, Sheryl Crow, Jonathan Brooke was one of those, but these women artists were in the late 90s and even early 90s, they were popular. And during the time that I was in college, the Indigo Girls, I think, debuted their album in 1989, and my freshman year was 89. So I really wanted to be a rock star at that point. But it was just a joke. It was never really realistic. I mean, my father was like, no, you need to major in business, and it's not even an option, you know? So it was very much a hobby, and I really didn't have any confidence in my singing voice or anything like that. It was many years later when, after going through a lot of these workshops, that I felt like, okay, I think I can write songs. I can play the guitar okay. I can sing okay. and I can write okay. And I've started to learn that, hey, all the people writing songs for the big Nashville stars were a completely different breed, the songwriters. And so I was like, I felt like I found my tribe, not that I'm writing for people like that, but it took a long time. I mean, I experimented with writing songs all through the last 20 years, but they were terrible songs, They were, I wasn't even thinking, I was just rhyming, I wasn't even thinking about what am I writing about, what matters, what's important, what's bothering me. So
then, when did the change happen? When did you notice that you started writing the song for the song and not just to rhyme or anything like that?
In one of those workshops, you get up in front of everybody and you perform the song that you've been working on for that particular workshop. And after, I don't know, the 6th, 7th, 8th one, Mary Gaucher said, Steph, you need to call yourself a songwriter. And so it was kind of this validation for this one song that made me feel like, okay, maybe I can do this. Nice. Maybe my songs maybe I have something to say that people might want to hear, or that people might care about, or it might resonate or inspire others.
The Mary Gaucher that makes me laugh because you sound like the way she talks, and she kind of like, oh yeah, I can see her saying that.
Oh, totally.
She's awesome.
But just a kind of a woman of few words, but her words are just
so good. Yeah,
so good.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, Jules,
what's up, man?
We haven't done a podcast episode in 6 months. I've been missing your wisdom, your philosophy.
Man.
So when did you chime in, Ray?
I had to listen to some of your stuff today before we came on this podcast, and I really enjoyed like the very specific examples of stuff that like stuff like about how the billboard says "I Jesus saves," and that's all you have to say in order to sort of cast all the background. If anyone's ever seen one of those billboards and seen where those billboards are located, they know exactly what the scenery is, and so it's kind of, different writers accomplish this sort of setting of the table in a way. I don't know what you'd call it, but like, someone like a Jason Isbell would use a refrain like that, "Don't wash the cast iron skillet," which is something you just hear in the South, and that kind of lays out the terrain, But I guess what I really appreciated, I mean, all of them sort of emotionally poignant and gripping, with just the little details that you drop out of things. But I would say that I really enjoyed the specific examples, because I've come to notice this a little more in different songs as I listen these days, about how the smaller you write, the more universal it becomes,
Yeah.
Yep. And I also, the way that this is all taken, it seems like some albums you just tell, like, this is out of her lived experience, man. Like, this is real stuff that's coming through about real things. And so I just really had a deep appreciation for the way it was constructed, for the way it was, there were times when I could hear like a real Lucinda Williams vibe, but there wasn't like a leather jacket involved with it, though. There was like, it was like, hey, this is my lived experience. Yeah. This is what I'm going through. And I think even one of your lines was like, "And you don't bother to hide your scars," or something, So I appreciated the vulnerability.
The specificity.
It really resonated. Yeah, it really resonated with me, and I appreciated it deeply. So thank you and I'm sad that I missed your set at the last festival. But I would say that I met your friend, and her name escapes me at the moment. But I played some dobro with her for a bit, and
Susan Carson.
Yeah, Susan.
Susan's awesome. Yeah, Susan's great.
Yeah, that was wonderful hanging out with her. Yeah,
she's awesome.
So
I'm trying to get her to come this year.
Yeah, I think she should.
I hope she does. She's so great.
Yeah.
So Jules, you missed her set?
I did. I totally missed her set, man.
Everyone was in tears.
It was
it Surf Club?
The entirety of House of Rock was just like, crying, oh God, it was a beautiful experience.
Man, there were a few, I think that these songs are a really great example of like when I've talked about, and I think I've mentioned this at some point in the past, and about how like the world is kind of far done with sort of the South Parkification of everything, and like really yearns for like a different and renewed sense of sincerity, and these songs, man, playing them out and moving people, which way I'm sure they do, standing in that vulnerability as a songwriter to offer that reflection is something that you don't get out of every songwriter, and the ones that do offer that try to do it the best that they can. But I think just the specificity and the sort of lived experience that you offer through these lyrics and the authenticity that comes through is. And I swear I'm not just like kissing your ass. This is all stuff I really thought about as I like.
I mean, that's what you're doing.
It's what I'm doing, but I'm not. But I'm also just being really truthful about it. Like you don't get these kind of albums all the time.
I agree with all that. Yeah.
I just really appreciate it for all that stuff. So
my cat Harper's come to say hello. She's wondering though, where's the question, Jules?
Well, so maybe it has to do more with like. So part of, I think, what separates those, like Michael O'Connor, I've been hanging out with him a lot lately, and he'll say something like, those who talk about writer's block are just full of shit. Because, like, you just, if you wait for inspiration, then, you just don't ever, you just go do it, And in that same respect, like, I love the way that you just like, what does it take? And it's like, well, it takes me getting out of my everydayness. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I think that part of that is like when I use the word everydayness, it's like a Heideggerian term. Like Heidegger, as a philosopher, was like, you save yourself from your everydayness and discover your own Dasein, which is like sort of self-actuation and authenticity and all that sort of, the top of Maslow's triangle with like self-actualization. So, but really, like so many times, what is the instigator of creativity is the disruption. And the disruption is like the aberration that throws you out of your everyday routine. And it takes a sort of disruption in order to create the conditions to where something new or something novel can come from that. So I like the way that you, and so that you're just trying to take responsibility for that. You're like, I don't go sit at a table every day and do this. I just go and remove myself from my everydayness and put myself in a camp somewhere and do the do there. And if that's what it takes and that's where those songs come from, then keep doing that, especially if you keep offering up albums like your last one, which is really incredible. So it's not really a question. Yeah.
I totally get it too though, Stephanie, with the day job part and getting stuck in the everydayness of that is you're just kind of surviving when you're doing the day job thing and you're trying to do your best, but a lot of times we don't leave room for creative pursuits, and that's you kind of have to or your soul will die. That's it's so important. Thank you, Jules. Very very kind comments there. Okay,
like so how does a person lacking in confidence convince Verlon Thompson to play on your album? I saw that on some of the credits on Tidal, and I was awesome. Like, that guy spoke 2 words to me at the Rockport Songwriter Festival, and I just about died. I almost fell over. I was like a gasp for a bit.
He's the sweetest man on the planet. Yeah. He was one of my instructors, one of my mentors.
Nice.
And so he's always been so kind and so giving, and when I asked him, he was like, heck yeah, I'll be there. And he knew the song that he played on because he had heard it before and helped me with it.
Nice.
So that was very cool that he was willing to come and play and sing. And you can hear his guitar dancing in the background on that song. It's called Grow Up.
That's awesome.
but yeah, and Garrett, to just comment on a day job, you know, I work with people. It's kind of a relationship job that I have. And so one thing I do is I really listen to things that, you know, how we do as songwriters, we're listening to what are people saying. We're looking, we're looking for ideas, and you never know what can end up in a song. But people say authentic, interesting things all the time, and they say it in a different way.
Yeah, you're telling me.
So I had to learn to really listen, and that includes listening to myself and this awareness of what stories do I want to tell? You know, what is on my heart and soul? What's floating around in my head? What's keeping me up at night? And that allows me to go deep and to be vulnerable. And it was very scary to put some of these songs out there into the world.
I bet, yeah.
Especially with my own family, with my own parents.
Yeah.
And we're very close, but we obviously went through a very difficult time through the course of our relationship over the years, because of our differences and the way that we view the world and religious faith and all of that. But, you know, I can play for an audience, but to play the song, Jules, that you're referring to called Billboard Sign for my mom and dad was, I thought I was going to die. It was just the scariest thing I've ever done, even though it's a professional recording and all of that. Yeah. And my dad just said, wow, you know, that was very emotional, is what he said. Those were his words.
Man.
But he also said, I didn't say that. Because I talk about it in the song where
did I ever say
he says something, and and there's a verse in there where I talk about him saying something, and then there's a musical pause, and then I finish, and he was like, I didn't say that. And I said, wait, hold on. And then after the musical pause, it finished. It was like, oh yeah, I did say that. You know?
That's something I said. that's I think I mean, my same thing with my day job too, Stephanie's. I talk to a lot of folks and I hear a lot of stories. And I think I don't know if I'm probably going to get the quote wrong, but Mary Oliver says something about pay attention and then tell about it, I think is one of her quotes. And that seems like a very, she's amazing. And she's very good about, a big part of creativity is really just kind of reacting to your world. You're seeing the stories around. I mean, there's stories everywhere if you keep your ears open. And telling about it is kind of the thing that we can do. This is the thing that I can do. I can immortalize it kind of in a way. But
but it's also really easy to shut it off.
You have to. If you're doing that all day, you have to. Especially like, man, the day job. Sometimes you gotta. Once you're done at 5, you're done.
That's right brain, left brain stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
So, what are you up to these next few months? What's on the agenda?
Oh gosh, let's see. I'm working on a new EP. I'm going back into the studio in April to record 5, maybe 6 songs, probably 5.
Nice.
That's what I was hoping to hear.
Oh, that's sweet. I decided it would be nice to do another full album, but it's such a big project, as y'all probably know. It's just, and I think it's better to just put these songs out as they're coming and as they're being written these days. And so that's what I decided to do, is just go back in and just keep doing a little bit at a time and keep the music flowing. So that's a big thing. I'm trying to get ready for that.
I like that.
Are you going back in are you going to work with Mary Bragg again? Or
I am.
Yeah, Mary's great. Mary did some great.
Wonderful.
She always has a very insightful ear when it comes to production, and she does some interesting. There's some interesting vocal stuff she does on your record too, Stephanie. That's really cool. I like the kind of the soundscaping that she does.
Me too. Gosh, her voice is so gorgeous. And she's finds harmonies that, I mean, I grew up in the Baptist church, and I learned all about being an alto and singing harmony and all that, but her harmonies are unreal.
Yeah, kind of otherworldly.
They're just, they are. Yeah. I mean, they almost have an ache to them, you know. There's what she added was so tasteful and meaningful. I really loved that and appreciated that as part of that process.
Like being very kind of intuitive about what the song needs and being pretty tasteful with it. And your chords too, Stephanie. She really kind of highlights some of some of your chord choices are like very interesting, and kind of unexpected. And so some of those choruses, like on Mend, I'm thinking of Mend, where it goes into kind of the chorus area, and that chord is kind of an unusual. She really figures out a way to highlight those things and those kind of things too. I was going to ask you, Stephanie, like some of your chord choices are really interesting. What does that come from? Is that a conscious effort? Is that where are you getting that?
I mean, some of that comes from, I love alternate tunings.
Yeah.
And a number of those songs are written in open D tuning.
Ooh.
And so you can make your everyday chords just sound a little bit different.
Yeah.
Or more full or sustained or something like that. And then
nice.
You just kind of put your fingers down and find an interesting chord.
Yeah.
And that's and the person who uses alternate tune, two people that I've learned from use alternate tuning, because Jonathan Brooke is a beast with alternate tuning. She's up there on the stage and almost every song she's like, rah, 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 you know,
gosh.
retuning her guitar fast, which is very hard to do.
I know, it's
stage.
so tough. Standard tuning's hard enough.
Yeah. And so I learned she literally has a page of all the different, there's probably 15 different tunings on that page that I've played around with. And then Emily Selliers writes a lot in open D and Dad-Gad.
Dad-Gad's awesome.
Those, is it really? Okay.
I like Dad-Gad. Yep.
But it's hard to get out of, I'm trying to get out of the open D stuff now. And I keep wanting to go back in there because I just, there's something about it that just sounds different. So that's where that comes from.
That's also kind of the Joni Mitchell thing too. She did so many. I don't know that anything was in standard tuning after the first couple of albums. It was all crazy, interesting.
That's
tunings.
true.
She always said she played chords like that. Someone asked her why, or someone had said, your chords sound like they have holes in them. And she said, well, it's because I still have holes in myself. And I was like,
oh wow. I didn't know that.
That's cool. Yeah, super cool.
That's very cool.
Yeah, you know, like DAD, F sharp AD is like the tuning that like is always kind of on my right shoulder. That's like, hey buddy, you want to switch to me sometime? Hey buddy, I know we're playing a set right now, but what if you just try that one song?
What if you just do it?
What if you just do it right now, dude? You know, another one that like is a really cool thing to have around is just like a guitar in D standard, just like a full step down.
Oh yeah, it's amazing.
And, yeah.
We've been doing a bunch of stuff in the Nashville high strung tuning. That is also gorgeous. That makes
I use that a lot in the studio.
I didn't even know about that till recently.
I don't know about that.
With Yoshi.
What's that?
So you basically tune. So there's two of the strings that are the regular 6-string strings, and then 4.
It's regular. So you get 4. Your E, A, D, and G strings are all smaller. They're higher, 1 octave higher. Yeah, they're like mandolin kind of thing.
Or they're 12-string strings. Yeah,
they're 12.
And then the other ones are just your regular strings, and it sounds like it's a homemade 12-string.
Yeah. It's a really
and
cool
nothing
thing.
pops.
It's
no. Oh, those strings will pop.
It's gorgeous.
No, those strings.
I mean, nothing pops when you're going up an octave. You don't pop a string.
No, they're.
No, you use they're the higher
from
string.
The 12-string.
Strings.
You use the 12-string pack.
So.
Oh, okay.
It's gorgeous.
But yeah, it works well. Like Yash and Yemi in our 2019 tour, I took a guitar that I kept in Nashville tuning with us on tour and used that. It really helps just accentuate, especially when you're playing similar chords. It just changes the sound.
Tom Petty's
It's wonderful.
How often did you change those strings, Jimmy?
I actually made it because I didn't use it that often. I made it through the entire tour, but as soon as I got home, they were done for. The
last time I took a 12 Nashville strung guitar to a session, it broke the moment I strummed a chord on it, just going from my place to But these are but if you do it fast, they sell, and they're cheap too. They're like $4 or $5 a pack for the Nashville strung strings. You can get them from Dario or on. Lord forbid, Amazon, evil overlord of Jeff Bezos, but you can get Nashville packs and stuff, and they're great for about 10 minutes, and I feel like they always pop.
But in those 10 minutes,
you just get it done real fast, Yeah.
I only used it for like 2 or 3 songs per night, and sometimes not at all, but. I don't know what you did to pop it within 10 seconds or minutes.
Just being a flat picker.
But we have just maybe 10 more minutes. So I want to know this will be your second time coming to the Corpus Christi Songwriters Festival.
Yeah.
What do you hope to accomplish while you're here? Who do you hope to see? What experiences from last time do you want to use to inform your attendance this time and performances this time?
I mean, the last question is, I loved the audience. I loved the people. They made me feel so welcome and so comfortable. Like I really could get up there and sing my truth, and you never know what to expect. I've done other shows and festivals where that was not the case. I could feel it and I could sense it. With the people there. And so that's incredible. I love hanging out with other songwriters, and I look forward to getting to know these other songwriters that you're hosting and you guys better this time. I'm going to be there the whole weekend.
Nice.
So that's going to be fun, and I'm excited to play more songs, and I'm excited to play in 2 different times, and I'm just so grateful to you all for having me back. I feel very honored that you invited me.
We're honored. We're honored to have you back. Yeah, you'll be playing Friday nights. You'll be in the opening performance of the nights. That's February 14th, and you'll be playing Saturday, February 15th at Executive Surf Club during the afternoon. Cool. And we're excited to have you play twice. You, again, were one of the standouts of 2024. And what I put together a 2025, every year I put together a playlist of anybody that I can find that has music on Spotify that's going to play the festival. They're in this playlist. And when your songs come on, I immediately stop what I'm doing and I listen. So I really appreciate you coming on board.
Nice.
And coming back.
Absolutely. I'm so excited.
Does anybody have any final thoughts before we ask that?
Are you going to ask the question? Are we continuing with the? You're right. You're right. It's not a hard question.
Okay.
Let me do it. Let me do it.
Questions.
Can I do it? Jimmy and I have a shared love of the movie Almost Famous by Cameron Crowe from 2000, which is 24 years old, if you can believe it.
Oh,
wow.
I don't know if you've ever seen it, Stephanie, but it's
a long time ago.
It's just one of our favorites. And the ending, the guitarist and the journalist are having a conversation. And Jimmy, what is the question? Is it, what do you dig about music?
It's actually
what do you love about music? So what do you love about music, Stephanie? Tell us.
I'm sure someone has said what's not to love.
No, I don't think so.
No, actually, that's the first we've heard.
Really? I'm just it's alive. It's part of my soul. And it always has been as long as I can remember. It's how we connect. It's how we communicate. It's just a very special gift, I think, that we all have access to in terms of listening to it, and some of us being able to create it as well. I'm grateful to have that ability, but I love everything about it.
There you go. Yeah.
Great
Beautiful answer. Yes. Jules, you have anything before we sign off with Stephanie?
No, Stephanie, I think you need to take several vacations and separate yourself out of your everydayness as much as possible, because we need more of your music, and I'm really looking forward to your next EP.
Thank you so much, y'all.
We'll see you in a couple of weeks.
All right.
We'll see you soon.
Can't wait.
All right,
Keep it warm down there.
All right, we're here with the 99s, which are made up of brother and sister duo Devereaux and G Martin, and they combine psychedelic stylings of the 60s with folk sensibilities. Hey, how are you guys doing today?
We're doing pretty good. Fantastically. Let's kick it off with the unmuted phone.
No. Oh no.
My bad. We are doing fantastic. Thank you so much, all of y'all, for having us on the podcast today. And we're super excited for the CC Songwriters Festival this February.
We're excited to have you at the festival.
Yeah, man. That's going to be awesome to have you guys out there.
Yeah, it's been a journey. I'm trying to remember exactly when we met y'all. I believe I met G first with your mom at the open mic night at House of Reich. And I invited them out to our open mic, or our in the rounds rather, like the following week, and they came out, and then y'all brought Devereaux the next time the other came out, and since then we've been out a few times. You've actually been a featured songwriter at I think
that's right. Last time
it was our last one.
It was fun, man. We played a lot of songs that night. We just kind of kept going. Well, we didn't. Not as many people showed up as that I thought were gonna show up, but then that was okay because we all just played extra, and it was.
There you go.
That's all more footage for YouTube, man.
Yeah, it was a good night of music. It was good too. Like we had a good selection of music. So
awesome. Yeah, that's the ebb and flow of in the rounds, right? Sometimes we went like it was several months where we had a full list every single time, and then sometimes it's one of those random months where a few people show up. But I'm glad that you guys were a part of it, or a part of CC Songwriters. Before we get too deep into this, introduce yourselves. Let our audience know who. And by the way, our audience is it's my cousin Derrick. He's the only one that listens to this. But
this one goes out to you, Derrick.
It's not true. It's not true.
But please introduce us. Introduce yourselves to Derrick.
Am I going first?
Yeah, you go first. Tell Derrick all about yourself.
Hello, Derrick. Thank you for listening to this lovely podcast. My name is G.
As far as you know.
As far as you know. Is my name not?
Just continue.
Hi, I'm G. I'm bad at introductions. Should we do like the three things to get to know each other, like the whole icebreaker thing that everybody totally likes?
Yes, obviously.
Well, oh no, why did I do this? Icebreakers always. I hate icebreakers.
All right,
Devereaux.
Three things about me, or my name is Devereaux. I have skin, and I'm also bad at icebreakers.
I have skin. Oh gosh.
Are you sure?
No,
screen. He's lying.
When we first started this conversation, you brought up dead bodies, and now you're talking about skin. This is
I haven't. You'd be more upset if I didn't. You'd probably tell me to change.
All right, maybe you're right. Okay, so separately and together, how did you all get into music, and what has brought you to where you are today?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Everything completely cut out. I'm sure it was.
It was a great question too. No, out of both of you separate and together, what got you into music in the first place, writing music, and where has that journey taken you now?
I'd say we probably started writing because of each other. We both had our own individual smaller things going together. And then we just kind of decided to just start playing music. And then we heard of the open mic at House of Rock and it was like, let's bring some of this there. And it snowballed and now we're in a band.
Yeah, now we're here. Right. Some cost fallacy maybe, but we're doing it.
All right. What is your songwriting style, guys? Like, how do y'all divvy that up? I'm always curious.
So it starts out with about a case of beer and a few too many hours into the night, and then I'll say a phrase or I'll write something down or I'll come up with a melody, and I'll drunkenly record that and write that down and then pass it to G, who will try and interpret that into something actually musical. Nice. And then once we get that initial, like the start of the loop on those, like those rubber band loom things, how hard those are to start. But once we finally get a song started, then it's really just an evolution of me saying a few things, G filling in a few chords, and then maybe we'll I'll give her feedback on some chords, what I like, what emotion it made me feel, and then G will basically do the same but opposite with words and chords. Nice. So we kind of fill exactly the niche that the other one struggles with.
Yeah, nice. Yeah.
That's good.
So truly collaborative then, as far as like when y'all are writing, y'all.
Yes.
That's awesome, guys.
And I like the dichotomy of each of you as well, because I see Devereaux, you come from this more I guess rock background, if you will. I hear a lot of, I don't know, the White Stripes sometimes when I hear you play. And then, of course, 60s psychedelic stuff, especially the way you dress and move around on stage. You wear that hat well.
Very Robert Planty.
Yeah, exactly. And then G, when I first heard you play,
I do apologize about our signal. It is sorry, we cut out completely again. We're experiencing a thunderstorm here in Beeville,
and we just saw a pop up that says your internet connection is unstable.
So,
oh no!
It happens.
I hope you were complimenting us.
Oh no, I was.
We wouldn't know anymore.
I was talking Matt.
9 yards of shit.
Anyway, so G, you're a rock star, or not G? Devereaux, you're a rock star. Basically, that's basically what I was saying. That's your sensibilities. You handle that well on stage. But G, when I first met you, you did a lot of these jazz chords that were really interesting, and I wanted to know where you come from with your music sensibilities. What got you into all of that?
I'm not entirely sure. I've always been a big fan of like jazz swing big band stuff. Like an artist we both grew up is the Squirrel Nut Zippers. Weird band name.
Oh my gosh, yeah, I know that band.
Squirrel Nut Zippers.
Yes.
My top 3 favorite songs of theirs is The Ghost of Stephen Foster, Hell, and That Lowdown Man. And they kind of have like a, Hell is a lot more like jazzier. That's when I really jump and jive to. So I'd say that a lot of that just comes from music my parents listened to, and then expanding a little more off of that with some more modern and kind of bridging it with the psychedelia stuff that you have with the rock. Yeah.
Well, yeah, we grew up in a Pentecostal church, and so like there was a lot of people don't realize how like. I mean, a lot of psychedelic stuff is really rooted in spirituality, but we lend so much of it to Eastern philosophies. But I mean, religion as a whole, either Western or Eastern, there is a psychedelic trance quality. I remember being 11, 12 years old in the middle of a sermon, and then like, regardless of what your beliefs on religion are now, there was something just taking the minds of all of these people and then just in one little box together where they could all end up with my music.
Yeah.
So with our
there you go. Aw. It's truly collaborative. Yeah. All right. Jules, I'm tapping you in.
I feel like
you brought up psychedelic, and I thought it was a good time.
Well, I would say that, and I guess I resemble that remark, right? I would say, there was this really funny meme that I saw at one point that you're reminding me of, and I've wanted to mention this before in this podcast, where like sometimes there was a woman that was like, when I was younger, I used to think I was just really caught up in the Holy Ghost or something. And
so
then
just
I went
like
to a
live
21
music.
Pilots concert and felt the exact same emotions, Like, and it's like, I just really like live music, And so I think about that in terms of like the same kind of experiential, maybe not like analogously, like it's not a spiritual thing, but it definitely feels like you're spiritually supposed to be. Like I get the feel when I play music, like nothing else is important, and this is why I'm here, and this is what I should be doing, and it just affirms every sort of instinct in me that doesn't give a shit if it missed the turnoff to a normal life past 40. It's like, no, this is what we do, folks.
That's what you're
music,
supposed to be doing,
right?
Yeah.
And so, but it really like. Is that not what like people who seek a spiritual avenue feel like? Like they're supposed to be doing that, and it gives them that kind of feeling, So, but I mean, if you can use music to channel that kind of to evoke that kind of response in your audience, then I remember G, I remember seeing you play piano at the surf club, and you had this. Wild song, like I don't even know how I
remember
describe
that song.
it. Yeah, and it was like
that was a great song.
It's memorable.
But it was like part of was it about anxiety or something that you were singing about?
Most of my songs are.
Right.
Admittedly,
but being able to channel that kind of like. Yeah. Even in terms of like the misuse of chords, like to go up a scale and hit the wrong notes intentionally in order to arrive at something that resolves.
Intentionally.
Yeah. Like, because when you're going up and down, I mean, I don't know why you may be doing B3 sweeps kind of up and down the piano as you're doing this. Or you were going crazy for a bit,
It was awesome.
And it was like, but it created the sort of like you're singing about anxiety, and it in a very fun and sort of interactive and engaging way, and I mean this with the most positivity, you gave the crowd quite the sense of anxiety before you resolved,
Very evocative, very evocative.
So like the way, I just like the way that like, I mean, you guys were already just talking about like, one of them does words based on like how it feels, and the other one's like, okay, well, let's interpret that, and going back and forth. And so I just think it's really cool what you guys do, and especially the piano playing thing that I remember all the chaotic moments that you created there was really something else. It was really cool.
Yeah.
I agree.
Thank you.
I agree.
Is there a question, Jules, or are you just?
I'm just full of remarks
that was
and
a
not
question.
Questions during this episode. I don't know, man.
I think but the communal thing, to touch off what you're saying, Jules, and the religious experience, that the idea of a communal, like, or like a trance state, or you're like, I've been reading, of all people, I've been reading this Franciscan named Richard Rohr. I don't know if you guys have ever read this dude, but he talks about our creative pursuits and things that we do that we put back into the world as far as creatively, like whatever we're doing, are our ways of connecting with deep time. He calls it deep time. And it's this part of us, kind of like the Joseph Campbell part of us, that is connected to all these great mythological stories. Like there's only, the phrase that there's like only really 3 or 4 stories and people just keep telling them over and over as if they've never been told before. Like that's kind of this creative thing that we do is a way of connecting with something timeless. And that's basically, you're right, Jules. That's what people get from religion, when you're looking for that communal, that deeper thing that's not just about your day in, day out life, but there's an undercurrent, the deep time part of it that you're connecting with, I don't know. I don't know if that made any sense.
No, I think that's cool, like that. Man.
Speaking of connection, I noticed that when I'm speaking to people, I have a hard time really grasping my words. So I use music as, funnily enough, even though it is using a very strict rule of wording, it helps me communicate it better. I don't know if it's just like the music or something. Oh, the camera's panning to me. That always catches me off guard.
My turn.
Weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's legit, though. That's why you're right, too, G. I think that's probably, I think that's why all of us, right? If we're trying to express something that's inexpressible, really the only way I can think of doing it is making music. It's not just your words, it's not just the melody, it's the thing together, and it kind of I don't know, expresses the inexpressible, I think, sometimes, and that's kind of what we're all trying to do. Hopefully.
You know, I saw this Julian Lodge video recently about how he was playing an acoustic guitar, and it was the most bizarre exercise. I'm turning into a Julian Lodge, like, jazz guy, right? The incredible.
Dude, he's crazy.
He's crazy, right? And he's doing this like guitar tutorial thing. So I'm thinking I'm going to see like some crazy licks or something. None of that, dude. He sat there and he was like, listen, I'm holding this acoustic guitar, and there are 5 points of contact between me and my body, whether it's my left and right hand, my right forearm, my chest, and my knee. And as you start playing the same resonant chord, he was playing a big open D chord, and just strumming it, same pace, most boring exercise in the world. But he sat there and he did this over and over, and he's like, look, I'm just going to sense and acknowledge that I feel the resonance in each of my 5 points of contact with this instrument one at a time, and then I'm going to go and combine them. So he's like, can I feel it in my left hand and in my knee? Can I feel this in my chest and in my knee and in my right forearm? Can I feel it at all 5 places at once? And he did this. It seems like a really boring exercise.
No.
But as he did this, the resonate, like the guitar chords, though he wasn't strumming harder, more aggressively, consciously getting louder, the chords got thicker, fuller, more volume as he allowed himself to resonate with the instrument.
Yeah.
That's
awesome.
I do love. Sometimes when I'm playing guitar on my own, I'll just hold it real close to my face and just like rest my face on my guitar and just feel
it's
all of
It's a thing, though,
I do that with my cats. Yeah.
I legitimately write most of my songs that way with my head resting on the guitar. So.
It's a meditative thing. You have to get in that thing. You have to get in that mindset.
I have an old church organ that I bought and put in my room. It weighed like 500 pounds, but I was able to fit it in my room, and it gets pretty decently loud. And so I just love to just find a cool tone, turn it up all the way, and then just find a voicing that I like, and then just because it had like the bass pedals, and I've got like the two keys because of the very resonance of the notes that it's hitting. It feels like I can feel all the voicings almost at the same time, and it's just I could do it for hours. Is it
like one of those old, I hear it.
Is it like one of those old like wind organs, Devereaux, or what did you get? Is it like an old Beep-3 or something?
It is a 1982 Baldwin Marquis. They had two different varieties. They had like the medium version, and then they had the big boy version, which cost us like, I think adjusting for inflation, it would be like a $50,000 organ. Like if people were still buying organs, they were ridiculously expensive.
Yeah.
But I mean, I got it for $50 on Facebook Marketplace. So
nice. Facebook Marketplace, y'all.
Hell yeah! It's got one broken stop and one broken key. It's just a little bit of tape fixed it. So, but honestly, a bargain. So,
little bit of tape saved you three zeros.
Yeah, good Lord. Yeah.
So this will be your first time playing the Corpus Christi Songwriters Festival.
Yes, I'm excited to see you guys.
I remember being rejected last time. I don't think I'm going to bring that up. No, it was for a good reason. We've gotten better. So
you guys are great.
That's kind of where I wanted to take this. Y'all started as a band. Is it okay if I say the previous band name?
Yes.
Shoebox Brain?
Yeah,
yes.
Brain. Yeah.
That's why we changed it, because no one could remember them.
I know. I love that name.
It's a great name.
Yeah.
We'll probably do an album or something called Shoebox Brain.
Yeah, that's good. But since then, you've evolved into the 99s. Where do you see this band taking you? You're playing as a duo for the festival, but you've been working on this band. Are you going to go in the studio? Are you going to be playing around Texas? What's the plan?
So right now we're trying to hit showcases. We're trying to hit events, because it's really easy. And I've seen it happen way too many times with so many of my friends who are musicians, and so many people I've known through the years. It's like, it's really easy to fall into a trap of when you get booked for music to just be booked for background noise. You're booked for a 3-hour gig. And like, I love playing music, and it's absolutely one of my greatest passions, but my very greatest both of us is performing. And so we're trying to book shows where we're the show. We're not there. Yeah. So that way you can have something to listen to while you eat your steak. I mean, that's nice and all. I like doing that. Nice. And it's always great to eat with live music, but I mean, like, I want to make people feel things and not just full.
I was going to say, just That was good. That was good.
That's fair. That's fair.
good. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I was proud of you guys with the doing the theater thing that y'all were doing. That was cool to see y'all start something, and and then like actually see it through it and work through it. That was awesome.
Yeah, it was a good little time. We had our last one, our last one I think ever, in December. But I mean, it was beautiful. We obviously want to thank Steve and Lulu at Rialto Theater in Aransas Pass for letting us put that on. Still a great venue. I know we're not there that much anymore, but everybody should go check them out. But I mean, we learned so much just from having that space, and just from having we've gotten a million times more comfortable on the stage because there would be nights where, I mean, nobody would show up, and so we would just have the stage for 3 or 4 hours and play for the couple people who were there. And I mean, I wouldn't trade that time for anything.
No, man, that's the crucible of a live artist is that situation, pretty much, right? That's
it's our London fog, man.
You work on our chops that way. 99's, when are we going to get some recorded music, eh?
Yes.
Get some recorded music whenever I find out everything there is to know about Logic Pro.
Oh, are you going to do it yourself?
We're at least going to record some demos and put those out. I mean, we may be able to self-release an album, but I mean, honestly, the goal is to shop around, with a few demos, see if we can't get picked up. But I mean, if that doesn't take us anywhere, I'll just do it my damn self. I don't
there you go. It's definitely par for the course these days to self-distribute and everything else. So, I honestly, that's the only thing that's missing from you guys. I need a recording so I can put you on the playlist, so I can promote you guys, because we really can't promote you for the festival because you don't have anything released yet. So get on it.
You'll have to come see us there.
Stand outside and shout it really loud like you did in the olden days.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
For the internet.
Mm-hmm.
This generation.
Was that before your time, or?
I mean, growing up, we didn't actually get internet at my house until I was like 9. So I mean,
ooh, there you go.
So but
it was the same with us, except it's because it didn't exist until I was 9.
No, my family was just poor.
I didn't have a computer until I was 14 or 16, something like that. So,
man, y'all, I don't know, man. My parents dropped off a beat up, non-working computer, and later on in life, they're like, "What are you doing with your life? You're working on computers? What's going on?" You think you did this to me, man. You inflicted this harm on me by having me self-repair computers as a child.
Yeah, you can't open the Pandora's box and try to close it.
Yeah.
If I was any good electric, probably would have pursued that, because it's really nice to be good at that stuff when you're into really old school organs.
Hey, well, listen, man.
I bet.
If you need some help learning Logic Pro, man, there's a great resource on YouTube. Look up. His username is either San Francisco Logic Ninja, goes by SF Logic Ninja, or just David Earl. I used to teach Logic Pro at A&M Corpus and previously in Nashville, and I got given that course load at some point with nobody. I was like, sure, I know Logic. I didn't know anything about it, and so
learned from
logically speaking.
Everything that led me to the Apple certification stuff I did while in Nashville just all came through watching David Earl's videos. So he can explain everything you need to know. Yeah,
there you go.
Heck yeah!
All right, so
thank you.
Write all that down. Get to recording and release something soon.
Right.
Give us some music.
Logic. Got it.
So you kind of meditate with your organ, Devereaux. Do you all use any other kind of weird instruments or anything in your creation?
What do you consider weird?
I don't know.
Okay, on the weird scale, where are you putting kazoo? I need to know. For you as a person, I need to know.
It's very weird. No, it's
we kazoo it up.
I don't know. I love kazoo, so
I do think it's unusual though.
Good answer.
Yeah.
Gee, I think it's unusual though that you prefer or seem to prefer the classical guitar. I think it's pretty cool.
What's you said that was weird? What's weird about that?
No, it's just not the most. I mean, you see most people
unusual, not
most
weird.
people with the steel
Unusual.
strings. Classical, a lot of folks they don't F with the classical guitar. They usually just go straight to steel strings, but it's nice to see somebody playing the classical out and about it. Cause I love the sound of
I
the
like
steel.
my hands.
Oh yeah.
Well, yeah. And I love the sound of a nylon string on pretty much everything.
Yeah.
So
in the studio,
cool...
I like to experiment. Like this song needs that warmer sound. So you'll jump to the nylon and things like that. But yeah. It's so like I was just thinking, like, do you have a sitar sitting around or anything?
I wish
if anybody would play with weird instruments, I think it would be you guys.
Yeah.
So.
I do have this old this dulcimer that my grandmother gifted me a while ago.
Yeah, nice.
I haven't touched it much, so I don't know. Maybe we'll bring that somewhere, slip it into a recording. That might be fun. It's
a cool sound. It's a really neat sound.
It's a cool sound. Yeah.
You know,
or the lap dulcimer, not the Hanmar.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Oh no, our buddy Chris Reedus plays dulcimer, and he's pretty good at it. He uses a lot of stuff. He's amazing at it. Yeah. It is a cool instrument.
Yeah. So record your dulcimer kazoo song, release it, and then we'll put it on the playlist.
Dulcizoo.
Yeah.
I mean, it sounds pretty good to me. And speaking of weird instruments, I mean, it is just another organ, but it's like a little mini keyboard. So Yamaha released like 4 separate little keyboards that are like callbacks to like early synthesizers and stuff like that. And I got the one that's based on like the 60s. Yeah. So I have the YC, which is like a play on their old combo organ, but it's about this big. And I also bought the keytar, and so
nice.
So if I just want to do a lead part and like still be able to do and stuff, people give me a weird look when I pull it out, but it's a bright red keytar that I play with, but it makes organ sounds and only organ sounds. It doesn't do anything else.
It's glorious.
Man, if y'all need like a weird instrument advisor, I'm happy to lend some consultancy here about like maybe we could talk about the hurdy-gurdy game you guys could develop.
Ooh, you know, oh my gosh, I would love a hurdy-gurdy.
Need a hurdy-gurdy.
You know, we're talking about like
heard some girds,
like wood saws with 1/4-inch plugs on them that are played with a violin bow.
Love that.
That is legit though. That stuff's amazing. Have you heard Little Mazarn? You jammed them yet?
Oh no, I haven't heard anything about this.
Austin guys, they had a record a couple years ago called Texas River Song, and she's a folky banjo player, and she has an older freaky guy that plays saw. This older dude in the band, but they use it in such haunting, crazy, interesting ways. Yeah,
that's cool.
That it kind of blew my mind hearing that record and realizing that wasn't pedal steel, it was the saw, and he was using it in that kind of atmospheric style. Yeah.
I spent a week trying to figure out how to play spoons, and I'm awful at it. You know.
I spent an afternoon trying.
Yeah, and then there's these like
I gave up after a couple hours.
Ball shaker, like spherical shakers that are on ropes that you can like. It's like this.
Yeah.
Those things. I got. They're in the closet, dude. I don't know. I'm terrible at it. You know.
Have you ever played
in the closet in 2025?
Oh, I was going to say that's the next thing. Y'all need,
but never touched it. But know all about the history of that stuff. Thank you for the Soviet Union for that. You know that Vladimir Lenin once asked Leon Theremin for theremin lessons.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't even know that was named after a guy.
Leon Theremin, dude. He actually was a member of. He was trying to develop proximity sensors for the USSR, and he accidentally developed the theremin. And then he developed this thing, and then and Lenin himself, like before, Lenin died in 23 or something. But before then, like. Yeah, he was. He actually took the theremin to Lenin and showed it to him, and Lenin asked him for lessons.
He's
and
like,
stuff.
"What the hell is that?"
Yeah, but it was seen at the time as like a testimony to like the USSR's ingenuity, you know, and
are we sure he just wasn't asking for a therapist?
Right. Comes out the labor camp asking for a therapist.
They're the same thing if you play right.
After that, I'm pissed.
I'll see myself out.
This has been an advertisement for better health. Yeah.
All right. Well, we got a couple more minutes here. Does anybody have any final words before I jump into the final question?
The final question.
Oh, that sounds daunting.
You can get a theremin kit online, but they're usually pretty crappy.
There's something like oddly postmodern about you guys that's really intriguing. Like it's like it's almost like y'all set out to break all the rules, but then you don't like really. like you're breaking the rules, not necessarily because like, oh, those are rules I'd like to break. It's just kind of like, oh, haha, we're breaking rules. Okay, great. Well, it sounds cool, right?
It's
If it
almost
sounds
You know,
cool.
like, yeah.
I'm here to
like,
break rules. I don't know what they are, but they're gone, man.
But you know, like the postmodernists were very like, you know, we're very like, I don't know, like the architects were like, oh, we're going to be anti-foundationalists. We'll just build all these structures without foundations. And the musicians were like, oh, we're going to make atonal music where we don't favor any specific note out of this 12-note octave more than we favor any other note, right? So they did these weird things
Charles Ives.
yeah. But you guys are kind of like, here's this aesthetic that shouldn't go together, and it sounds cool. You know, like here's this stuff that shouldn't make sense, but it makes sense and it's not making sense. You know, it's like it's cool.
Great.
So
that's very
it's like you're on this journey of discovery of just music and sounds, and it's exciting to watch you guys grow. So
yeah,
it's like the way I at least I personally, or when we collaborate, the way I think about writing music, or at least the way I think about it right now, is this thought popped into my head, is, you know, when it's like really late and you're in the kitchen and you're like, I'm going to take two foods that you should never try, that no one has ever thought to put together.
Yeah. And then
we're going to make a sandwich.
Yeah. You accidentally make peanut butter and jelly like for the first time. And it's like, oh my God.
I was thinking like cherry and olives. I've done that before. It's not as bad as you think.
I was going to say Marmite and quinoa, but you know.
Have you ever done that?
Huh? No, I'm not going to either. So
I'm just a coward.
Marmite and quinoa. That's the title of the podcast. I want
to taste terrible and have a bad texture, man.
That's the title.
That's the 99s. If you enjoyed that.
All right. Well, you guys will be playing during our 2025 Corpus Christi Songwriters Festival on Sunday, February 16th, during our VIP brunch and awards ceremony. So anybody listening, you got to go get tickets now. You can do so at ccsongwriters.com. You can only attend this brunch if you're a VIP or a songwriter. So get in on that. Excited to have you guys play for the first time for the festival. And then, all right, brace yourselves. This is the hardest question of the evening. You ready?
Ready.
Okay. We call this the Almost Famous question because it's from a movie that came out long before y'all were born called Almost Famous, and it's
oh, no way.
Anyway, it's the question is asked at the very end of the movie, and it's something that speaks to us as songwriters, and we just love it. And asking this question to every person that comes on the podcast. So, G and Devereaux, what do you love about music?
Playing it.
That's too simple. We got to do something.
But who else would say that? Everyone else is going to be so contemplative.
Like me? That's me. Everybody else. Okay. I guess my favorite thing to get out of it is to just... It is kind of an unfathomable kind of thing to put into words. I'm using all the wrong words to try and say the right ones, but I mean it's to feel. I just want to make people feel things that they want to feel, or that they don't want to feel, or that they need to feel. I just feel like the what I love about music is its ability to make people feel very specific things if you're good at it.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's interesting.
And
I like that.
Great answer. And G?
And again, like I was saying earlier, just the ability to communicate on a past human level, and just really just kind of, it's similar to what you were saying. Like, I have these things that I'm trying to say, that I'm trying to feel, and I'm going to take this, take it.
Yes.
If that makes sense.
Yes.
Take it.
A connection.
Yeah.
Connection is pretty much, it's pretty much it. That's the thing.
Oh, yeah. Well, everyone, stay tuned for the 99's debut album featuring what is it? The dulcimer and the kazoo will
Dulcimer,
be coming out.
Yes.
the saw, the theremin,
Jaw
theremin.
harp.
the
There we go.
hurdy-gurdy.
Perfect.
Oh, the jaw harp.
yes.
Yeah, we didn't talk
There
about
it
We're
jaw
not gonna have drums. It's just gonna be me.
Harping on jaws.
punching each other.
Well,
It gives it that nice meaty percussive sound, you know.
well, Devereaux and G, thank you guys so much for coming on, and we'll see you
Thank
in a
you,
couple
guys.
weeks at the festival.
Thank you so much.
Yeah,
All right.
we'll see y'all
All right.
soon.
See you guys
Thank
soon.
you.
Thank you, Jules. Thank you, Jimmy. Thank you, Garrett. Yeah, bye.
Yep,
I
thank
think we
you.
cut out. I don't know. Bye.
Yeah, we cut out
Thanks
for a
for having
moment.
us.
Goodbye.
Yay.
Derrick, was that his name?
No, yes, Derrick. All right. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye, Derrick.
Bye.
Okay, everybody, that was the Corpus Christi Songwriters podcast for this week. Make sure you tune in next week for Nathan Evans Fox and Sarah Golden, another two artists that are going to be at our upcoming CC Songwriters Festival, February 14th through the 16th. Keep an eye out for that. Go get your tickets now. They're on sale. And yeah, join us next time on the Corpus Christi Songwriters podcast. I'm Garrett.
I'm Jimmy.
I'm Jules.
We'll see you next time.
At the end of this life that I've been given